way to display the images in the web page. So to decorate the images, such as the, if we need to, so background some of the colors, and we need to include the gradient colors, and we have to add any logos, or need to add some of the borders and etc. It makes semantic sense to keep such images out of the markup and CSS where they are more rightly belong. So in not only image, it is the only one way to add the images in your web page. So if we need to decorate the images, or need to add the some of the backgrounds, or need to add the logos and the border, we can use the CSS style. We can use the cascading style sheet to do the all this decoratives. So but when the images or the content, such as in the image in the gallery, or in the image should be in the product detail page, then image tag is the semantically appropriate approach. So if you need to display the image in the web page, so what the first thing you have to do, you have to save your program, you have to download that image. So and that particular image should be in your gallery, or it should be in your whatever the system we are using, it should be saved in your desktop, or in any some other documents. So this is the how we are going to add that image. So take down this, how we are going to add that image followed by the, so here I am adding that. So it is a one of the name I am given that central park.jpg. So it is that source I am giving that it as a URL, whereas the source is equals to name, and this URL it is equals to value. So and again I am given this alternative, alt is equals to central part. Can anyone tell what is the usage of alter? Yes, why we need to use that alter? So instead of, it will going to display the central park. So if you're not, due to some errors, or due to some any, you're not able to view that image, so then the alternative method for that view image is it will going to display the content of the image. So just by seeing this content of the image, you'll come to know that, oh, this is the image, if it should be there in this place. So then again it is the title. So here we can adjust the width and the height. So let me see that first one. It is an specifies that URL of the image to be displayed. So what is that thing we are written inside that source? It will going to specify that what is the URL you are going to use to display the image. And again, this is the alternative part. The text in the alternative attribute, it provides a brief description of the image content for the users who are unable to see it. So who are the user? If you are unable to see the image, so then this is an alternate attribute. It will going to provide you the brief description about the image. And again, this part, it will tell the text in the title attribute. So this is the text in the title attribute will be displayed in the pop-up tool when the user move the mouse over the image. So this is the title which is need to be displayed on the web page. So when it is going to be displayed, so if the user will going to pop up the message to the by using that mouse, then this is the message it will display on the web page. And again, this is the width and the height. So why we are using this width and the height? So the particular for this title, that is in a central park. So for this title should be in the width 80 and it should be height in the 40 pixel. So to adjust the width and the height, we are using this content. So next we will move on to the, okay, so before that we will see the character entities. List I will tell you in the end. So next is the character entities. So what are these character entities? So these are the special characters for the symbol for which there is either no easy way to type them via the keyboard. So why we are using this character entities in this HTML file? So these are some of the special character symbol for which there is either no easy way to type them. If you are the user, you are not able to type that the special characters through the keyboard, then there is a one more solution. So that is what, so some of the values or some of the entity name should be given to these characters to instead of typing through the keyboard. So you can use this table. So these are the some of the common character entities. So this is the entity name. So NBSP, which stands for non-breakable space. So the entity number for this non-breakable space is and hash followed by the 160, and again lesser than. So if you are not able to type this special character through the keyboard, so then you can use this entity name or you can use this entity number in your HTML code. So then these two will give you the same meaning of this symbol. What is it? Is lesser than. So and this is the greater than, and the hash followed by the 62 is the entity number for the greater than symbol. And again for the copyright symbol, so if the symbol is not available, you are not able to type this copyright symbol through the keyboard, then what is the alternative method? So you can use this entity name as an copy, or you can use this entity number at is an and followed by the hash followed by the 169. And again it is an euro symbol. So if you are not able to type this euro symbol, then you can use the entity name as an euro followed by the entity number. So this is the entity name for the trademark symbol, and again it is the entity mark for the alt mark symbol. Yes, take down that heading as a character entity. Take down that heading as a character entity. So below that, I take down this table. On the list. So in list, so we have the three different types of list are there in the HTML. So first one is the unordered list, and second one is the ordered list, and third one is the just the definition of the list. So before we are moving to the types of the list, let me know that what is the definition of the list. So this is the collection of name and the definition pair. So what is the list here? So it is just a collection of all the names and the definition pair. So in that ordered list and in the unordered list, so whereas in the unordered list, the collection of items in no particular order. So these are by the default by the browser. So it will going to display just by using the bullet. So but in the ordered list, all these are the collection of items that have the set order. So these should be in the numbered list. So I will show you one program. List.html. So this is the example for the ordered list, and this is the example for the unordered list. So in this unordered list, so it will going to display these three lists like coffee, tea, milk. These are the list which is one by one, and again this is a ordered list. So again there will be the separate list present in between that ordered list. So in this UL, that is the unordered list, so these data will going to be displayed with a bullet, and in the ordered list, so these data will going to be displayed by the numbering. So I will run that program list.html. Yes, look into here. So here this is an unordered list, and again this is an ordered list. Take note that heading has a list. Below that, copy this unordered list program and the ordered list program. So better you can take down this program only. It is easy for you to understand. Just take down this program. Don't give it on, just it is a list. Yes, I will take on that program.
Yeah, ma'am.
It's completed.
Yeah, ma'am. Completed.
Okay. So this is the example for the list. So this is how unordered list, it will be displayed like the bulletin order, and again in the list, that is a ordered list, it will going to display by the numbering system. So this completes the list and the character entities. So next we will start the new topic, HTML semantic element. So before we are moving to this HTML semantic element, so let me know that what is a semantic element. So take down the definition of semantic element. A semantic element, a semantic element clearly describe, semantic element clearly describe its meaning to, it's clearly describe its meaning to both browser and developer, for both its browser and developer. So in that semantic elements, so there will be a two types, like first is the non-semantic element. So that is the non-semantic element. Then second one, semantic element. Semantic element. So what is this difference between semantic element and the non-semantic element? So in the semantic element, so it clearly defines its content. So what it will do, it clearly defines its content, like whatever the contents present inside that semantic element, it will going to clearly define its content. So some of the example for this semantic elements, like any forms or any table or any article. So this article I will tell you in the coming class. So this is the form and the table. So we have already seen the example for the semantic elements, like if you are included this table element or tag in your program, so then it will going to display the table. So in coming to this non-semantic element, so the example for non-semantic elements, like either it can be division or it can be span. So in this, what is the function of this non-semantic element? It tell nothing about its content. So in a semantic element, it will going to tell something about the contents. Like if you are included this form or table, it will tell you that whatever the data or whatever the information present inside the table. So but in this non-semantic element, it doesn't tell you that whatever the contents present inside the non-semantic element. So in this HTML semantic element, we need to study the header and footer. First, we need to study the header and footer, and second, we have to read the heading groups, and third, navigation, articles under sections, and fifth, figure and the figure captions, and sixth is the aside. So these are the topics we need to cover under the HTML semantic structure. So let me see one by one. First is the header and footer. So what is this header and footer? So typically the header will contains the site logo, or it can be title, or it can be any link, or it can be any horizontal banner. So in this header, so what is the function of this header? Header element, typically it contains the, so one or more headings, or it can contains the sum of the logo, or it can contains the any authorship information. Like these are the some of the basic information we have already seen. It contains in the header format. So it is like one or more header. So if it is one or more header, like it can be h1, h2, h3, h4. So it is the h1 to h6. So these are the header. It can be contained in the header. And again this footer, so this footer will contains the less important material. So as we seen that when you are open the web page, so the most of the user, what they will do, they will look into the top. So it is the heading. So whatever the thing which is present on the heading, so it is easily going to the mind. So in the footer, it is a less important material. We doesn't give more importance to the data which is present in the footer side. So what does it contains? Just it contains some of the copyright information, or any contact information, so or any some of the related documents to the top, where whatever you are written in the web page. So these are the some of the data that is less important which is present in the footer side. Take down heading as a header and footer. Header and footer. Take down header and footer. So before we move, I will tell you that what is an article. So here this article element, it specify the independent or self-contained content. So what is this article element will do? So this article element, it specify the independent or self-contained content. So where we can going to use this article element? So we can use it in the newspaper articles, or we can use it in the any posters or any forum posters. We are going to use this article. So I will run that program for that header. Header.html. Look here. So in this header, so I'm included the h1. So this is the header need to be displayed on the top of the web page, and again it is followed by the one more header. So and again it all should be present in the article. So this article element specify the independent and the self-contained content. So let me run this program. Header.html. Yes, look here. So this is the so in this header, first what I'm included the image. So what is the image I'm given? So I'm already saved that image as svce.jpg. So and I have placed that image. So why I am using this alternative image? If I'm not saved that svce.jpg previously, then it will show that it is only the logo. So see here, just I will change that svc. So this is the name. I am not saved in the system. Okay, so then I will run the program. See here, so the alternative to the logo. So by looking this logo, you can come to know that, oh, this is the image. It needs to be placed in place of the first header. See here. So the heading, it is the fundamentals of the web. So it is displayed like the fundamentals of the web, and again followed by the header 2, that is the HTML semantic element. Again it is displayed same as it is. So and the paragraph should be present in below the header. So this is the complete explanation for the header. So next we will move to the footer. Yes, before that, copy this program, take down heading as a header and footer. Take down that heading as a header and footer. Yes, before that header and footer, take down the main heading HTML5 semantic structure elements. Semantic structure elements. In this header and footer, so take down this example. So here, these most of the web pages have the header and footer. So this footer will contain the less important material, and the header will contain the most of the time it will contains only the logo, or it can contains the any title of the web pages. Yes, you can take the screenshot of this. Next is the, I will show you one example for footer. This is the example for footer. Footer. This is the example for footer. So usually what does footer contains? It contains the less important material, or it can contains any examples, or it can contains any author informations, or it can contains any copyright informations. So in this footer dot, so what I'm included? I'm included so some of the other information. So he is the author here, which I have placed in the paragraph, and again it is the sum of the information which I needs to be placed in the footer. So if you just click on that, so it will move on to the next page. Okay, next is the heading groups. So what is this heading groups? Heading groups, it stands for an H group element. It can be used to group the related headings together within one container. So what is the use of this heading group? All the H group elements, it can be used to group the related together within one container. So before moving to that heading group, let me run one sample program. Example for that. Heading groups. See here. So how that H group will look like in the HTML5. So look here, it is the level 1, like H group, it contains the H1 and the H2. Okay. Next in the level 2, so it will contain the H2 and the H3. In the level 3, so the heading group should be start from the H3 and the H4. Oh, and again from the level 4 it starts from the H4 and the H5. So in the same manner again the level 5 it starts from H5 to H6, and in the level 6 it follows that H6 and the H6. So this is how that H group will going to look like. Yes, this is the example for the header group. This is the example for the heading groups. So take down the example for this heading group. So it is only like all the headers should be grouped together within a same container. So here H1 is the one group and H2 is the another one group. Again it should be grouped in the one more H group like H2 and the H3. So if we need to again add another one group, so that is the header level, that is the level 3, then we have to add H3 and the H4. So in the next level we are going to add like H4 and the H5. Take a screenshot of this program. So this is an example for heading groups. Example for heading groups. So I will run that program. Look here. So in the first header one, I am written like a chapter to HTML1. So this is the one header, and again it is on a second header. So and next, so in the next, so this is the one group, and next level of group what I am included, I am taken this H2 followed by the H3. So in that heading group I have taken as some semantic structure element followed by the again H3. So this is how the HTML heading groups will going to be work. Next is an navigation. Yes, navigation. So what is this navigation? So we are going to use the tag like nav element. So it represents a section of page that contains the link to the other page or any other part within the same page. So what is the definition of navigation? So it contains the link to the other page. So if you are written some link in the same page, so if you just click on that link, it will directly connect to the other page which is present. So I will show you them an example for that navigation. Yes, look into this program. So I am taken the tag as a navigation. So in that navigation what I am written in the first reference, I am taken that HTML. So if I just click on that HTML, so it is directly move on to the, so what is the reference I have given as HTML, html.com, it will move on to the there. And again in this second header reference, so the main function of this navigation, it is to represent a section of a page. It contains that link to the other pages. So let me run this program. Navigation here. So if just I'll click on the CSS, it will navigate to other page. Actually it is not present, so I have not taken. So I just click on that HTML. So if we need to navigate this page, so first only we have to save that HTML. So here I have not saved this HTML. So wait. home. So this is the home that I'm already saved in that program. So just take down navigation. Yes, look into this. Again, it is the same. I'm using that navigation symbol here. So here I have to link this home. So if just I click on this home, so where it has to move? It has to move into the header.html. So this header.html, so I'm already created this folder, and just by clicking on this home, it will move on to the header.html. So here I will change this about to list. Change that. So once you click on this about, it has to move into the list.html. Yes, look here. So if just click on that about us, it has to move into the list. So if I just click on this home, so what I am written inside that home, I am written the header.html. So this is I'm included the header.html. So this is how the navigation will going to work. So you just by clicking on one page, it has to link into the another page. So I will show one more. So again, okay, I will take that footer.html. Now click on it. So just click on that browse, it has to move into the footer.html, like whatever the contents which is present in the footer.html. So it has to link that page to the navigate link, or it has to navigate the page into the another web pages. This is the example for the navigation. Take down the heading as a navigation. So below that navigation, just copy this program. Yes, you can take the screenshot of this, or else I will share you the screen. We'll move on to the next articles and the sections. So we have already seen what is an article. So it is just a independent, an element specify the independent or self-contained content. So where the places we are going to use this section, we can use it in the blog post, or we can use it in the forum post, or we can use it in the newspaper articles. Okay, so this section element, it represents a section of a document, so with a title or with an heading. So in this, according to our W3 schools, so it is much a broader element, while the article element is to be used for the block of the content. So I will show you an example for that. Section.html. Here, so this is the program for the section.html. So this is the one section, and again followed by this is the one more section. So this is how it will going to run the program. Just click on that section.html. Yes, look here. So this complete is the one section, so up to 2 lines. So and again the second 2 lines, again it is in a one more section. Okay, so next is the article. So this is the program for the article. So here, so the first header, it will show that article element, it followed by the, so this is one article, so which is present as a header and the footer, sorry, header and the paragraph, and again it is the one more article, and again it is the third article. So just take on the screenshot of this. So the article element, so the header followed by the paragraph, so that is a one article, and again it is a header followed by the paragraph, it is one more article. So and again Microsoft Edge followed by the paragraph. So this is one of the article. So this is all about the articles followed by the sections. So usually the section element, it represents the section of a document. So but in the article element, it represents the self-contained composition. So in this article, on what it will do, it represent the self-contained composition. So just by seeing that Google Chrome, you will come to know that whatever the data and whatever the information which is present inside the Google Chrome, so it represent the self-contained composition in a document. So but in case of the section, so it represent the general section of a document. So just to click on that section. So here it contains only the general section of a document. Okay, next is the figure and the figure captain. Figure and the figure captain. So this figure element can be used not just for the images but for any type of the content that could be moved to a different location in the page or in the document. So what is the use of this figure we are using here? So not only the figure means it element, it can be used, it doesn't use it only for the images, but also we can, it is used to move the information or move the image from different locations in the same page or in the same document. So these element, it should not be used for the every images. So just to add the images, we are going to use the tag like image. So but we should not use like figure. So it doesn't mean that we are going to add the image in the HTML page. So it is just the figure, it is the element not only for the image, but you are going to use the essential contents that needs to be moved to a different locations. So this is the example for the figure and the figure caption. So look into this program. Here first we have written the paragraph and again followed by the figure. So here it is a open tag and here it is a closer tag. So in between that what I am written, so I am added the image. Okay, by using that source I am adding the image, and again below that I am taken the fig caption followed by the sum of the content. So what is the content present between that fig caption? Like conservatory pond in the Central Park. So this is the diagram. It will going to show you the image followed by the content which is present below the diagram. So that should be like a figure caption. So I will show you the one more program for that. Figure.html. Yes, okay. So this is the image I am added here, and followed by the, so like data or content about the image should be present below that. So it is like a figure and it is followed by the figure caption. So here it is in a figure, the data present below the figure, it is called as a figure caption. That is about figure and the figure captions. Lost in this structure is an aside. So what is this aside element? So this aside element, it is same and it is similar to the figure element. So only it is used for marking up the contents that is separated from the main content of the page. So this aside element, it is same and it is similar to the figure only. So the only the difference between that aside and this figure is it is used for marking up the contents that is separated from the main content of the web page. So this figure element, it is used to indicate the important information whose location on the page is somewhat unimportant. So why we are going to use this figure here? This element was used to indicate the important information and its location on the page is unimportant. So wherever the location we are placed that image, it is an unimportant. So these aside, it represent a section of a page that consists of the content or it can content around the aside element. So just only the difference between aside and the figure. So these both elements are the same, one and the two. So only the just difference we are using this aside element. So just for marking up the contents, that's it. Okay, next is the CSS. So that CSS will start in the next class. So this is the XHTML versus the HTML file. So just to take the screenshot of this, I will show you the image. This is the sample XHTML layout. So here we are included the header and header group and the navigation. So this is how we are going to do the navigation, and again the section, how it is going to divide the section, and it is an article. So and next is the figure, how we are going to add the image in place of the figure. So and this is the photo caption. So this is the figure and below that figure it is present like a photo caption, and again it is an aside, and again it is followed by the footer. Yes, take a screenshot of this. This is the sample layout using the HTML file. So that is we have seen in the previously, it is a sample for the XHTML and this is for the HTML. So here we have included the header and the footer, and again the header group followed by the navigation, and again the article we have included, and again the section followed by the figure and the figure caption, and last we have included the aside, and this is the footer. Yes, take down screenshot of this. So first one which you have taken, that is the example for the XHTML, and this is the example for the HTML.